What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Cornelia, back with another episode of Black News, a podcast where we break down current events, hot topics, and local stories involving Black people. Now let's get into it. I feel like I'm a little late with this topic, but it literally happened on the back end of, maybe mid last week, the conversations started to happen. And of course, as conversations within the Black news space, as they happen or move around, it literally has been one of the most talked about things across social media. And that is in regards to people denouncing their sororities and also their schools. So let's have a conversation. And maybe y'all know, maybe y'all do not know. I am a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I am not currently financially active, but I am a member. I have ties to my undergraduate chapter. I have friends and associates, line sisters, colleagues who are a part of the organization. I am a little sister. I am a big sister. I am a spesh. I have been all of the things. And I got opinions. Okay. I have opinions. Now, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to go completely in out of respect for the people who are denouncing just respect out of everybody who could kind of catch a stray with this. I'm going to be as tactful as I can while providing my opinion on the overall situation. And also, I do actually know and have some sort of connection to somebody, not naming no names or pointing nobody out, related to the situation that happened in regards to the girl denouncing. And I purposely did not ask anybody any specific questions, didn't get no more information, try to find nothing out, because I kind of want to, I don't know. I just, something told me like, don't dig too deep into it. Okay. So with that, these are my opinions and these are my thoughts. Okay. So what had happened was apparently a young girl, rising senior, I'm not going to name her name. It's all over social media. You can feel free to find it if you want to. Crossed Alpha chapter. She then decided, after she was initiated into the sorority, to denounce. Now, what denouncing basically is when people claim or proclaim, they stake into the ground that they are no longer a part of, no longer desire to be a member of that organization. You can go online, YouTube, TikTok, all over social media and search denouncing sororities, and you'll see videos, present day, past, all kinds of people talking about them denouncing, them giving reasons why. You also see people who have opinions on the denouncing. You have people who are in the organization who are adding different levels of context, asking questions, challenging it. You got people who ain't never been in no organization talking about denouncing, and you got the GDIs, let's keep it a buck, who didn't make it, who got a lot to say. It's a lot of people who didn't make it who are chiming in, not from a place of support or agreement. People be salty. Hey, people still be salty. They ain't make it 30 years ago. They still be mad. I'm okay. I'm going to just tell y'all what it is. Okay. So with that said, in this case, the young woman decides to denounce, and I don't know how, I'm really not clear on how her letter to the organization got to everyone. And by everyone, I mean the entire world. Okay, all of social media. Because I could not find a video of this person denouncing, but somehow it got blasted, the email that she wrote. So that automatically tells me She posted this on social media in addition to sending it off to the organization, which I'm going to get into that in a second. But within the letter, there was private information related to the organization. There were things that you only know or are privy to or kind of, have experienced per se. You will only have experience if you are part of an organization or similar organizations, because sororities and fraternities, whether it's, AKA Delta, Zeta, SG Rho, so and so, on and on. There are initiation processes for each organization. They range in length of time. What you have to do to go through them is different, but there is an initiation for all of them. But within that letter that she sent that went viral, some of that stuff was in there. So one of the things that was heavy within that was she was talking about her religion and how she felt like this was conflicting with her Christian values and her Christian faith. And she had an inkling early, but then once she finished, she realized this basically wasn't for her. Now, let me start by saying this. I am a Christian. I love the Lord. Okay. I love me some God. And I am a member of a Black Greek letter organization. I have a lot of friends who are members of Black Greek letter organizations. Also have my sister, friends, associates who are a part of other religions and have other religious backgrounds who are also a part of Black Greek letter organizations. So it is possible, even if you're atheist, to be a part of an organization and not have the exact same religious beliefs as that are rooted within that organization. Same way some people go to Catholic schools who aren't Catholic. Some people are a part of different organizations or participate in different things that have roots within some form of religion, but they may not necessarily be a part of that in present day. We see that across the board, regardless of organization. So let me say that because I feel like there is this misconception that is slowly starting to spread that there is some that organizations ain't rooted in God and you can't be of God if you are in a fraternity or a sorority. That's a lie. Stop that right there. That's a lie. And let me say this. Even if there were an organization that was out there that was not rooted in Christianity or your particular faith, my question to people who stand firm in that, does that mean that everything that you do has to have roots publicly and written in Christianity? Because if that is the case, there are a lot of things that you would not be able to participate in, purchase, buy, or whatever. You ain't going to no movie. You ain't listening to no music. You ain't reading no book. To me, it's, yeah. And I say that to say, because one, I'm never going to tell somebody that their religious beliefs are incorrect. When people said they heard from God, I am never going to be the one to be like, God ain't tell you that. If you think God told you something, he told you. God talks to me in different ways. Maybe God talked to you in different ways. But I do think that we as human beings who have access to historical information like the Bible, the Quran, we have a tendency to decipher the Bible and those other books, spiritual books, religious books, in ways that may not have been the context that was actually intended by the people writing it or by the person or the being that we think is our God. We also have to take into account that the Bible has been translated many times over the years, and it has been translated by men with their own intentions, with their own put their own little stank on it. Let me just keep it a buck. But I say that to say, I would like people to go into the idea, or to think about, or to hear about this idea of denouncing, and with the Christianity undertone. I want people to know, no, there are Christians in this organization. There are, like, it's not, it ain't that what people are trying to make it out to be. So let me just leave that there for a minute. There's also mention about false gods and altars. And at one point, I was watching some other denouncing videos. People were talking about you got to wear white dresses and take oaths and things. All things that people mention are parts of traditional ceremonies that happen in other aspects, in other places. If you go to a doctor, you got to take an oath. You got to wear the white coat. Are those oaths considered demonic? Right? Are we not practicing medicine anymore and swearing or vowing to do no harm to people in that field? What's the difference between taking an oath there and taking an oath for, whether it's maybe law school? Like, where do we draw the line, and what do we consider to be okay and to be not okay? So those, I feel like those were the basis of this particular person denouncing. It was very rooted in spirituality. The same with the young woman who then chimed in and said that she was denouncing Spelman College. Now, it's one thing, right, to join an organization and to decide, you know what, this isn't for me, I'm going to denounce the organization. But I never in my entire life seen somebody denounce a college. Like, I think I'm just of the school of, if you don't fool with something, just stop fooling with it. Like, I don't need to fire up the computer, my phone, and be like, you know what, I don't fool with that school. I'm denouncing a school. Like, I think this might be out of my depth of understanding. Also, people post good questions in regards to those in particular. Some of them which were, if you went through the process in private, why not denounce in private? If you are denouncing a school, does that mean that you gonna give your degree back and denounce that diploma? If someone asks you, do you now say that you do not have a bachelor's degree? What are the lines that we're drawing here? So it's just that, to me, that extra add-on with the college, that's a mess. I just don't. Okay, like, girl, please. But with that in mind, I wish for everyone's sake, and by everyone I mean the people on that campus, the people on that line that crossed, and the girls who did not make it, I wish that this would have began differently and ended differently. And by began differently, I mean, usually on college campuses, if you are interested in being in a sorority or fraternity, whether it's the Black Greek Letter Organization, or let's say you at University of Alabama and you going through Rush, there is a process of expressing interest and trying to become a part of the activities, the initiatives, and the programs that these organizations are a part of. That's across the board, whether you trying to be in a white organization, fraternity and sorority, or a Black one. You don't just land in the sorority or the fraternity. There are ways that you gain knowledge about the organization. You start to see what those chapters are doing on campus. You're becoming involved. You are on your own time increasing your community service, making sure that you practice and are in line with the ideals of those organizations. So again, you just don't wake up one day and land online for an organization, white or Black. So I wish that earlier in the process, this young woman, and again, maybe this doesn't apply to her because she did mention in that message that she didn't know you don't know certain things until you are a part of it and you get to experience it. But I do wish that there could have been an earlier level of discernment that took place before she was selected to get to this point. Because when you are at an HBCU specifically, you are on campus with girls, young women whose parents crossed that chapter. Their grandparents crossed that chapter. Maybe they didn't cross that chapter, but they are legacy because their parents crossed at another chapter. People send, in some cases, their kids to certain schools specifically so they can be a part of that same legacy. So you're literally going against all of these people vying for your one spot on that line within that chapter. Because a lot of times chapters and on different campuses, again, whether you at a PWI or HBCU, they may have one line every 2 years, one line every year if you're lucky. So identifying earlier in the process what your boundaries are, what you are willing and not willing to do, what makes you comfortable and uncomfortable, finding those out earlier would have given someone else an opportunity to be a part of that organization. Because this Alpha chapter, baby, you just don't land on there. It probably took you months or a year to put yourself in position to be able to have your application stand out amongst hundreds, maybe even 1,000. So I feel like as individuals, and if there are any young women listening, young men, or even grown men and women who are listening, maybe you are interested in an organization, maybe you are applying for jobs in corporate America, maybe whether you are pursuing a career in a particular industry. As individuals, we need to have a level of self-awareness, discernment, and do our own research before we get too deep into something that could have possibly been avoided had we looked at it from a different perspective or from a holistic perspective. Because I really feel bad that a chapter like Alpha Chapter, where you got women who I know it was some girls on that campus who wanted it. I know they wanted it. I know they wanted it, to have not been given an opportunity for someone to then turn around like the day after probate and be like, you know what, I'm good. I don't like it. I'm going to just be 100. I just don't like that. Again, I'm not one to tell people how they should feel and what their beliefs should be. I understand that. I just wish that there could have been an opportunity sooner to avoid that. Now, what do I think is going to happen? I don't know. But I do know within any organization, if you tell any not even organization, if I get a job working for a celebrity and I tell all the celebrity business, it's a possibility that celeb gonna get me. Ooh, they're gonna get me. So I don't know what is going to happen. There were rumors like it's gonna be legal action against the girl. I don't know. I don't know any of that. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if that's warranted. I don't know if that is currently happening while we speak. But I do think this does open up a conversation about how chapters are picking lines in the future, how the organizations, all of the Black Greek letter organizations approach these situations moving forward. Because again, while this one girl went viral for this particular organization and this particular chapter, if you look online, you got people like, yup, I showed it, yup, I did it too, yup. So it is definitely a conversation that is currently having and that we need to continue to have about how to avoid this. But child, I don't know what's about to happen. I do, again, feel bad for the young girls who did not make line. That's just, oof. Okay. So with that, and that ties into the other situation where I mentioned the girl denounced Spelman College. Now, let me point this out in particular to that. Now, again, she really highlighted and mentioned how that young woman she was really in her faith, and she graduated years ago. She's not a new grad, but she was sitting in this, and she said the Spirit led her and moved her to denounce her graduation and her degree, I think, from Spelman College. Now, we are in a time right now where Blackness is under attack. Black history is under attack. Black people is under attack. Black programming is under attack. Black personhood is under attack. Black autonomy is under attack. And Black institutions of higher learning, they are under attack. So I do not like how this situation is bringing negativity towards something that we as Black people need to be uplifting and protecting. Because the way education is about to be set up in this country, HBCUs are going to be, and should be rightfully, as they were many decades past, should be the premier institutions for Black people in this country. So I don't like no negativity around that, especially. And y'all know I went to Hampton University. It's Hampton all day. But Spelman is one of the best colleges in the country, not just HBCUs. And I do not like our fellow Spelman sisters, a school, being positioned in this way. Now, and I'm saying that I'm not the one to discount somebody's experience. If God led you to do a certain thing or told you a certain thing, I hear you. But also, we need to protect our spaces, especially a school like Spelman, who continuously pumps out some of the most accomplished, educated, wonderful Black women in this country and in the world. I ain't having it. So another thing that had Black people pissed off, okay? Yeah, I'm talking about straight pissed. Apple Music announced or dropped a list of the 100 best albums recently. And by recently, I mean sometime last week. And before I start to point out some of the things, the flaws in the research, when a lot of times people, and by people I mean platforms, drop lists: best singer, best album, best dancer, greatest performers. I feel like they drop these just for clickbait and to start conversations, because there ain't no way you can drop a list of any kind and have people completely satisfied. We are in a time where multiple generations have access to all of this information, have all of these opinions. We have a hundred some years worth of music to pull from, and then we never know the criteria for the list. So in regards to the most recent outrage with these 100 best albums, what was the criteria? Who was voting? Who is a part of the panel? What were the qualifications? I feel like in any case where you having a debate, especially about music, you should have to prove that your music database is vast. And I be having these fun debates with some of my friends about rap. Because one thing that I won't do, and I told y'all this on Black News, I'm not going to have rap debates with people who just started listening to rap music in like the early 2000s, or maybe even the late 1999s. Like, if your rap database is too new, I refuse to have a debate or a conversation with you that requires an extensive level of knowledge just because you just haven't done the legwork. We got two different levels of databases that we're working with. And if my database is bigger than yours, then there's no way we can have an equal conversation or discussion to where we can have an agreement about what's good and what's not. You just don't have the knowledge. So in regards to this, I feel like some of the qualifications should be for people to be a part of a panel or a group that determines certain things about, best album, best song, whatever. You have to be able to show and prove that your musical database spans beyond your current generation. I don't know how you would prove that, but that should be one of the qualifications, because you are able to then pull from different genres across different eras and to make the comparison and then stack the list up that way. And I say that because, to start, child, they got Confessions by Usher Raymond IV listed as number 95 on the list. Y'all, Confessions is one of and it may be the only R&B album within the 2000s, I believe, to have went diamond. If I'm not mistaken, I know it was, I believe it is the only R&B album within the early 2000s that went diamond. You telling me the only R&B album that went diamond is number 95 on the list? Are you kidding me? Y'all, Confessions number 99? They got Tyler, the Creator, at number 92. What's the criteria? Yo, what is the criteria? Like, I think I'm just not understanding. Okay, what's the criteria? Mary J. Blige, My Life, is number 86. Huh? Y'all know what's above My Life? Casey Musgraves. They got Doggy Style as number 84. Doggy Style is one of the best hip hop albums that have been created since the start of the genre, which was in the late 1970s. You telling me that Doggy Style is number 84? Now, this is a good discussion right here that I'm about to point out. They got Get Rich or Die Trying as number 82. Is Get Rich or Die Trying a better album than Doggy Style? Now, this is when we start to get into the real debate and the real conversation. This is what I like, okay? This is what I'm talking about. If you go within the album list and really start to pick it apart, that's where you're going to get into the meat of it. Is Get Rich or Die Trying a better album than Doggy Style? I can't answer that right now. I'm going to have to go back and listen. But they also have Like a Prayer by Madonna as number 77. You telling me that Kraftwerk has a better album than Like a Prayer? Now, some of the honorable mentions, I'm gonna just start going through in the name of the black people, because I'm gonna just be mad the whole time, and I don't want to do that. Missy Elliott, Super Duper Fly, number 75. SZA, SOS, is number 72. NWA, Straight Outta Compton, is number 70. And of course, I'm naming the black ones because I ain't gonna get too deep in the white one, because that's my bag too. Okay, we start getting into that. Hey, De La Soul, 3 Feet High and Rising, number 65. Erykah Baduism is number 64. Tupac, All Eyes on Me, 62. Sade, 61. That was Love Deluxe. D'Angelo, Voodoo, 57. Rihanna, Auntie, is 55. You telling me that? Okay, I'm gonna keep going. John Coltrane, Love Supreme, was 54. Prince, Sign of the Times, 51. Take Care, Drake, 47. Janet Jackson, Control, 42. Outkast, Aquemini, 41. Aretha Franklin is 40. Nas, Illmatic, 39. Y'all, take the wheel. Illmatic is... Wu-Tang, Enter the 36 Chambers, 37. Beyonce, Self-Titled, 36. Public Enemy, It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back, 34. Ready to Die, Biggie, 32. Tribe Called Quest, Low End Theory, 29. Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Kanye, 26. Dr. Dre, The Chronic, 19. Marvin Gaye, Was Going On, 17. Jay-Z Blueprint 13. Beyonce Lemonade is 10. Kendrick Lamar Good Kid Mad City is number 7. Stevie Wonder Songs in the Key of Life is number 6. 5. Blonde Frank Ocean. You telling me that Frank Ocean Blonde is better than Confessions? You got Blonde ahead of Songs in the Key of Life. You got Frank Ocean in front of Prince. It's a couple Michael Jackson albums that ain't even on here. You got Frank Ocean on the list ahead of some Michael Jackson albums. You got Frank Ocean Off the Wall ain't even on here. Number 4 is Prince Purple Rain. The Beatles is number 3. You got Thriller number 2 and The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is number 1. Child, this list had black people upset. Ooh, what do y'all think? And I cannot rank the best albums, right? I do not have my mental Rolodex intact to be able to scan through everything that I have listened to. But as it relates to black albums and black music, I feel like some of my favorite albums that were considered perfect and could stand the test of time, I will give y'all those. No particular order. These are some of my favorite albums, and I want to know what yours are. So we got Off the Wall by Michael Jackson, Mama's Gun, Erykah Badu, I Want You, Marvin Gaye, Songs in the Key of Life, Stevie Wonder, Purple Rain, Prince, The Waiting to Exhale soundtrack, Mary J. Blige, My Life, Usher, Confessions. Let's see. Those are the ones that I will put right here off the top. Perfect albums. You can rank them however you want to, but when we talk about albums that are just sublime and pristine, I would say those. But let me know your thoughts, because child, I'm gonna keep looking at that list. I'm gonna get mad. Okay, I'm gonna look at the list and I'm gonna get mad. What y'all think? What are some of y'all top albums of all times? And do you agree with the Apple Music 100 Best Albums list? Hit me up. You can find me at Canelia with your thoughts. On this episode of Black News, we talked about people denouncing organizations and institutions, specifically sororities and HBCUs. We also talked about the Apple Music 100 Best Albums list and some of the snubs, if we keep it in the buck. Okay, you guys, let me know your thoughts about all of these topics, some or none, and I'll check back with you all next time. That's it for this week's episode of Black News, y'all. Thanks again for supporting the podcast by sharing, liking, subscribing, and rating 5 stars on your favorite podcast app. To find more information about me, you can check me out at Canelia on social media, as well as on my website, which is canelia.com. And as always, thanks for supporting, and I'll be back next week with new topics and a new episode.